Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dan. This is Viking Designs. Now, if you've ever been in the position where you need to choose a decking product and it becomes very overwhelming. So in this video, I want to talk to you guys about a bunch of different decking products that are available here in Australia. I'm making this video to help you guys make an informed decision, tell you about the pros and cons. I'll tell you about a whole range of products on the market at the moment. So by the end of this, you may have a better idea of what's going to be right for you. Now I'm going to run you guys through the 5 different types of decking products that are commonly found in Australia. You got your treated pine, you have your hardwood, then you got your PVC composites, hardy deck, and then you got your millboard. Alright, so let's dive a little deeper on each one of these deck boards. And yeah, we'll start with the treated pine. Now this treated pine, it is super cheap. If you're on a budget, this is the one you want to go with. Now this generally comes in 90 by 22 millimeters. You can also find it in 140 by 22 millimeters. You can either fix this down with a nail gun, which makes it super quick to install, or you can screw it down. Now, if you do top fix it with screws, you also don't have to waste your time countersinking all your holes like you do with the hardwood. So this makes this by far the cheapest and easiest to install. Now, the cons with this will split. If this is exposed to full sunlight, within 24 months, you can expect to see this stuff split. I don't think this will really last more than a decade. You probably want to get a couple of really good coats of oil onto it. You could even paint it, which will offer you even more protection. Now, this stuff can be had for about $43 a meter square, which is by far the cheapest of the lot. But just remember, it will probably only last you 10 years if you're lucky. If it is undercover, this may be good enough, but if it's in full sun, just expect to replace it. Alright, the next on the list is the hardwood. Now let's get into the hardwoods. So here you got like a really nice spotted gum. This is an Australian hardwood. Here you have Merbau. Now this Merbau has been super popular in Australia. It's really tough. It is on the cheaper side in terms of hardwood. So you're getting what can be a pretty nice looking deck without completely blowing the budget. This is sort of one step up from your treated pine in my opinion. Now you do have to be careful with this Merbau. It leaches a lot of tannin and it is super painful to get out. So you really have to seal this, seal all the cuts. Otherwise, yeah, after the first downpour, you will notice just red tannin everywhere. And if you have built a deck on top of pavers or concrete, it's going to stain absolutely everything. Now onto your Australian hardwoods. This stuff is my favorite. Depending on where you are in Australia or the world, you're gonna have different species of hardwood. In Australia, we have spotted gum, black butt, you got yellow stringy bark, iron bark, silver top ash is a really nice one as well. Now I would pick this over the Merbau any day of the week. Now when it comes to fixing, this and the Merbau is the same. You need to pre-drill every single hole before you put a screw into it. Otherwise the timber just splits because it's so hard. Now your hardwood comes in a lot of different sizes, anywhere from 86 by 19 millimeter, then it sort of jumps up to 135 by 19, 140 by 22, even 142 by 35 or 45, which makes it really thick. Now the pros of the hardwood, in my opinion, this is beautiful. This is a really, really beautiful timber. It's super durable. You can use some species in bushfire zones and they are super strong, a lot stronger than your composites. So they'll take a beating, and if they have any scuff marks on it, you can just resand the deck. Whereas if you get a scuff mark on your composite, it's generally there for life. Now I guess the cons of the hardwood is fairly expensive to buy, and the biggest con of the hardwood is that it is super high maintenance. Now if this isn't in full sun, it will last a long time, it will hold up great. However, if this is in full sun, yeah, it's gonna take some work. I'm not gonna lie. I built a hardwood deck at mine and it takes some work. Probably twice a year you're going to need to oil it. Drum of oil is about $200 to $300 here in Australia. You're going to want to put a couple of coats on, and you need to sacrifice a couple of weekends a year. So you need to ask yourself, do you want that sort of a job? The other thing to keep in mind is it will never look like this. It looks like this the day you put it down, and within about a month or two, it just doesn't look as good. Like, it's so nice, and it doesn't continue to look this good, unfortunately. This is what it looks like when you first put it down. And then after 6 months, kind of left with this grayed out version. Now, if you're one of the people that like that grayed off timber, I'm one of those people, but a lot of people hate it. I would suggest you go for the thickest deck board you can afford. Basically, having that thicker board will prevent it from twisting and splitting. So if you want that weathered gray look, yeah, buy the thickest board you can. I laid a black butt deck about 6 years ago, and they've just let it go gray, but it was 45 millimeters thick, but it looks absolutely amazing. If you're just gonna lay 19 millimeter boards, then I would suggest you oil it. Now, a hardwood deck similar to this is gonna set you back about 97 bucks a square meter. All right, now we're onto our composites. You got your Eco Deck, you got your Everlast. Both great products. Let me have some of this. I'll show this Eco Deck because we use a lot of Eco Deck. The guys at Eco Deck are awesome. So let's run with this. All right, so your Eco Deck comes in 137 millimeters wide. It's 23 millimeters thick. The grooves on the side here are meant for a hidden fixing system. So your benefits of using a composite timber like this: super low maintenance. You get really long warranties, which you don't get with a timber deck. Some of these are going from like 20 up to 50 years warranty. So that's a bit of peace of mind for what is generally a sizable investment. They're really low maintenance. You can actually get some really nice curves with this stuff. It won't rot, and it has a hidden fixing system. So you're not really looking at any screws like you are with the hardwood or the treated pine. Now, the cons with this stuff is it can get hot. If you're putting it outside, I would suggest choosing a lighter color. It can also get quite expensive. Now, you'd expect to pay about $127 a meter for this stuff. Keep in mind, there are 100 different composite brands now, so that price can vary wildly. Next product is the Hardie Deck, which I don't have a sample of for you guys, but it is a fiber cement decking product. It's perfect for bushfire zones, which we have a lot of here in Australia. It won't rot, twist, or split, and it also has a hidden fixing system. Now, this Hardie board comes in 196 millimeters, which is super wide. It's 19 millimeters thick. Which just means being that wide, you're going to have less joints, which I think is nice. Now, the nice thing with the Hardie Deck is it does keep cooler in the sun. Your plastic composites do warm up a bit. The Hardie board won't do that. It'll definitely stay a lot cooler underfoot in sun. I guess the cons with the Hardie Deck, it does look a little bit industrial looking, but you can also paint it. So yeah, there is a bit of flexibility there. And you'd be looking to pay about $107 a meter. And last but not least is your millboard decking. Now, this stuff says it's made from mineral fibers and reinforced with fiberglass, coated with an incredibly resilient polyurethane last lane layer. I could definitely feel the fibers when you're cutting this stuff all day. You kind of get itchy. It's got that fiberglass, you get that fiberglass kind of itchiness. So yeah. All right, so for the sizes, this stuff is available in 176 by 32 millimeters. They come in 3.6 meter lengths. Now, the pros of this stuff is it has a ton of colors to choose from. It looks beautiful. I think this is probably the best looking pretend timber out there. It's super easy to install. It's really light. It won't rot. It won't twist. It's virtually maintenance free, and it has a really clever fixing system. You basically top fix the deck boards with the screws provided. You drive them below the surface of the deck. The holes basically just close back up, and it's like you can never see it. It's actually a brilliant idea. You can top fix it, I guess if you had to pull all the decking up, it might be a bit of a pain, but you still can locate the screws. Now, the biggest con with this stuff is it is super expensive. That's it. There's really no other cons with this stuff. It is a brilliant product. Probably my favorite. You're looking at about $264 a square meter for this millboard. The next closest to that is $127. So it's easily more than double the price. All right, so my final thoughts on this. Treated pine, avoid it if you can. It's not going to last. If you're on a budget, it is what it is. If you're going for a hardwood, I'd go for an Australian hardwood over an Indonesian. If your deck is in full sun, just be well aware that you're gonna have to give it a lot of your time and attention to keep it looking good. And if you like the weathered look, just get those thick boards. That will do a lot better over a longer period of time. And if you wanna oil it, keep in mind that it's gonna be a few $100 a year. However, if your deck does have a roof over it, a hardwood could be a really nice choice. It definitely gives you that warmth that the other options don't. Plastic composites, my pick of those is probably the Eco Deck. We use a stack of it. I've been really happy with it. It's easy to install, so you save on labor costs. It seems to hold up really well, and it has a really nice fixing system. The Hardy Deck is just a little too cold for me. I'm not a massive fan. However, I guess in the right space, it could work for you. And then you got the millboard, which probably is my favorite. It's super light, it's easy to work with. The fixing system is great, it gives you a heap of color options, and it looks the closest to real timber in my opinion. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you got any questions, leave them down below or find me on Instagram and ask me there. I'd be happy to help. Hope this video has been some help to you. If you are a chippy and your clients are asking what type of deck to use, just send them the link of this video and it'll have all the information there for them. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.